Hello friends, in this video I will discuss Spring AI Chat Client. Chat Client belongs to the package org.springframework.ai.chat.client. So first of all, let us see how to create Chat Client. In Spring Boot application, we can auto-wire it directly, and this will take the configurations from the application.properties. The minimum requirement is you have to define API key that we create from the AI model platform. Here I am using OpenAI, so we have to create it from OpenAI. Now let's see. If we auto-wire directly, this will take the configurations from the application.properties. We can also create it programmatically. So let's go to the app config, read the data from the properties file. First of all, you have to create the chat model. In this example, I am using OpenAI, so I am using OpenAI chat model. So chat model is ready. Now chat client provides the builder, chat client.builder, and pass your chat model to this builder, and then we get the chat client.builder, and we can configure other things by using the builder, and when we call the build method, it will return the chat client. So now if we auto-wire the chat client, we will get this bin. So in this way, either we can auto-wire chat client or we can create in our application configuration. Now let's see how to use the chat client. Chat client provides the prompt method. Basically, using the prompt, we can use the Fluent API that will build to create the prompt. Suppose I am creating here a response after getting from the AI model using the chat client. What we have to do is that use chat client, then call the prompt method, then call the dot user and pass the query. This is the user query, and then use call method and then call the content method. Basically, chat client provides sync and async both approach to get the response from the AI model. If we use call method, we will get the synchronous communication, and for the asynchronous communication, we need to call here stream. I will discuss it later. First, let us discuss about the call. Now, to get the directly string data, we need to call content. This will give directly string data, and in our controller, what we can do that we can return the JSON data. Here I have created a REST web service by getting the data from the AI model from the chat service. Chat service is this. So if we call the content dot content, then we get the directly string response from the AI model. Now to get the chat response, we call the chat response method. Chat response is from org.springframework.ai.chat.model. So this will now returns the chat response. Here I have already created. Call the chat response and you will get the chat response. Now if you want directly an entity, suppose I want the response as a writer, I just want to get the writer instance. Suppose in this class I have a string writer and a list of books. So if I query for a writer and wants the response It's the writer name and the associated books. And this response I want as a entity, like in my case this is writer entity. So what we have to do is write writer, and now here you have to call the entity. Pass what type of entity do you want. Okay, so to get the string, call the content method. To get the chat response, call the chat response method in this place. And to get the entity, call the entity method. Now if you want the asynchronous communication, so what we have to do is that change here stream method. You have to use the stream method instead of call method. Now to get the string, again you have to call the content method, and this will return the flux of the string. So this is the asynchronous communication, and by using the content method we get the flux of string. Here I am using stream. Now to get the chat response, right here chat response, and then call the chat response method. Same method, the difference is only in the place of call method we have to call the stream method. In this way we have seen that we have to use the chat client, we have to first hardwire chat client and then call the prompt method using the user. You have to pass the query here, and for the synchronous communication use the call method, and for the asynchronous communication use the stream method. And to get the string, call the content. To get the chat response, call the chat response. And to get the entity, you need to call the entity method. In the flux we cannot call the entity, it does not provide. Okay, so in this way we can use chat client fluent API in our Spring Boot application. Okay, thank you.